The point of a horror movie is to be as dark and disturbing as possible to scare the audience. This leads to some movies exploring rather sinister themes, which although truly deplorable, are often entertained because they're just fictional films. While you watch in total fear, you convince yourself it's just a movie, and none of this is real. But what happens when that disturbing horror movie that just can't be true is secretly based on real-life evil? That's exactly what we will be exploring today. Horror films that people think are just fictional, completely made up stories, but little do they know, are based on real-life evil. The movies we will be looking at today, while completely different films, for some reason all seem to be based on the same theme, the real-life evil most people would never pick up on. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos exposing the truth weekly. In today's episode, we will be talking about fictional horror movies that seem to be based on real-life evil. Let's get right into it. Now, like I said in the intro, while these movies are all different stories, for some reason the main theme of these films all seem to be the same: a supernatural evil that goes after children and feeds off their fear. While this theme has been normalized in horror films, most people don't realize there is more truth to this than you would like to imagine. Before we get into that, let's break down these films to discover what real evil they're hiding, starting with one of the scariest movies of all time, Stephen King's It. Now, I have already made a Patreon exclusive video on It that I heavily edited to be able to post on YouTube. In that video, I briefly spoke about the plot of the movie, but mainly spoke about what the movie connected to. But I didn't really get to go deep into the story of the film. A story that once I thoroughly analyzed seems so much darker than it seems. The movie It is about a group of friends who call themselves the Losers Club and live in the town of Derry, Maine. The friends discover that the town is haunted by an evil entity that is preying on children, and they embark on a terrifying journey to destroy it. At the start of the film, a little boy named Georgie was playing with his paper boat, sailing it in the stream of water on the street. Since the rain was pouring hard, his boat eventually fell into the sewer drain. When he saw this, he quickly ran after the boat, only to find a creepy-looking clown waiting for him in the sewer drain. The clown was holding his boat and started talking to Georgie. He tries to convince the boy to join him in the sewer, but Georgie doesn't trust the clown because he was told to stay away from strangers. The clown then introduces himself to the boy, revealing his name as Pennywise the Dancing Clown, telling the boy that they now know each other. The clown then offers Georgie his boat back, and when he goes to grab it from him, the clown turns into a disturbing-looking monster with razor-sharp teeth and devours him whole. After Georgie was abducted and killed, his big brother and his friends eventually formed the Losers Club, with the mission of investigating Georgie's strange disappearance. But soon after they started looking into what happened, they became prey themselves. One by one, it started to terrorize them, bringing their worst nightmares to life. The group started having disturbing hallucinations where they were confronted by their darkest fears. They eventually realized that whatever it is, it doesn't only want to eat them, it wants to season them in fear. Its primary food source is fear itself, so the deity terrorizes them to keep the children in fear so it can consume them at the height of their fear. Between the book, movies, and the latest TV show, Welcome to Derry, we know that It is an ancient extra-dimensional being from a place called the Macroverse, a realm outside of our universe. It came to Earth as a cosmic entity that crash-landed in a meteor during prehistoric times, landing in the area that would become Derry, Maine. After the impact, it fell into a deep sleep until humans arrived and became its source of food. From that moment on, it would go through a ritual feeding cycle. It would feed on people for some time before going into a deep hibernation for 27 more years. Eventually, it realized that children were its best and easiest targets, as their fear was much more simpler than adults' fear. This allowed it to manifest the child's fear to feed off of it, so he eventually took on the appearance of Pennywise the Clown to lure children in. Once he lured the children in, he began to slowly terrorizing them, to do what they referred to in the movie as salting the meat, with the children literally seasoning themselves in their own fears. I almost felt like the movie seemed to parallel the real-life evil that children face all over the world. It seems to allude to child abductions and something else that I can't say on YouTube without having this video shadow banned and receiving all types of community guideline issues. Let's just call it AC fluid. It almost seems like the creature It was meant to represent a child abductor who is after that AC fluid, with the whole concept of it feeding off fear being based on harvesting AC fluid. For those who don't know what I am referring to by AC fluid, let me try to explain it without getting into any trouble. See, when people are in fear, it triggers an adrenaline rush as part of the body's fight or flight response, a natural survival mechanism that prepares you for danger. When this process happens, it produces AC fluid. Children happen to produce more AC fluid than adults as they're easier to scare and have a stronger fear response, making them prime targets of those who are after that AC fluid. So just like in the movie, it wanted its child victims to be in intense fear so it can eat them, while these real abductors who go after children put them in fear to harvest their AC fluid. In the movie, it would feed in a 27-year ritual feeding cycle, showing that its kills were ritually done. Just like it's believed some abductors take their victims to strange rituals to harvest their AC fluid. Something else I noticed was that in the movie, it has all the adults of the town under some sort of mind control, where even though they see all the evil that happens to the children, they purposely ignore it and actually help in covering it up. They recently depicted this in the new It series Welcome to Derry, where it eats a group of kids at a local theater, and the police frame the crime on an innocent man to cover it all up. Or when the residents of the town see a group of teenage bullies attack a kid and choose to ignore it instead of helping the child. This is because they're all under its manipulation. This seems to parallel what happens in the real world. As everyone knows, kids are going missing and bad things are likely happening to them every day, but most people choose to ignore it. They do nothing about it and go on living like it doesn't happen. It seems like the police do very little to stop it. The media avoids the topic altogether, while those in positions of authority cover it all up. Just like in the movie, most people are just made to ignore it. This is sadly the reality for many of the children who go missing. I actually made a Patreon exclusive about a secret society that just so happens to dress up like clowns who are accused of doing some disturbing things to young victims. If you're one of my members and haven't seen it, make sure to go check it out after this video. If you're not a member and you want to join, you can find the link in the description. It's rather disturbing how it seems to parallel this real life evil so vividly. Just like the next movie we're going to be talking about, The Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street is a very similar movie to it, give or take. In Elm Street, instead of a killer clown as a villain, it's an old burnt up PDF file named Freddy. The story of Freddy is just as disturbing as we find in it. After the townspeople found out that a man named Freddy Krueger was running around doing very bad things to the children of the town, being responsible for the disappearance of many children, one day the townspeople decided to all band together and formed a mob showing up at his home. When they got there, they set his home ablaze while he was still inside. With no time to escape, Freddy burnt up in his home. As he died, 3 dream demons appeared and offered him the demonic power to invade people's dreams and to become immortal. When he accepted the power, he used it to kill the people in their dreams, allowing him to seek revenge on the children of those who killed them. Now, just like we saw with it, Freddy also feeds off the fear of the young, this time being the teenagers in Elm Street. Freddy used fear and terror to fuel his power in the dream world. He exploits his victims' deepest insecurities and weaknesses, using their fear to make his attacks more potent and to increase his own strength. The more frightened his victims are, the stronger he becomes. When the victims reach the peak of their fear, Freddy ends them and steals their soul. Again, this seems to point to the exact same thing we see in it, going after young victims for their AC fluid. This time, the monster was more literal, being an actual PDF who went after children before he got his powers. Freddy turned the children's fear into energy he can consume to become stronger. Once again, it is a pretty clear parallel to children being abducted for their AC fluid, just like we see from the next movie we're going to be talking about, Jeepers Creepers. Now, for those who think Jeepers Creepers might not seem related to it or Freddy, think again, as it is once again almost the same story, give or take. Jeepers Creepers is an ancient bat-like demon with a humanoid appearance. Just like it has a ritual killing cycle. It emerges every 23rd spring for 23 days to hunt humans for their organs, which it uses to replace its own failing body parts. In the short comic series called The Jeepers Creepers Trail of the Beast, the Creeper is depicted as a dark ancient creature that the Aztecs believed to be their serpent god. Creeper is shown participating in ancient Aztec rituals where he is seen accepting and consuming sacrificial hearts. Now in the movie, when Creeper emerges for his killing cycle, he quickly begins hunting for people. While he doesn't only go after children during his killing cycle, he does prefer them. Why, you may ask? Well, because again, he feeds off the fear of the teens. The Creeper goes after teens, especially young men, because of their fear which it uses to hunt and feed. The Creeper is drawn to the scent of fear, and teens often display it prominently, making them prime targets. So just like in Stephen King's It and Nightmare on Elm Street, Jeepers Creepers is about a monster who goes after young people and terrorizes them to harvest their AC fluid. What's rather disturbing is that the man who was behind the Jeepers Creepers movie, Victor Salva, actually went after young victims in real life, just like his Jeepers Creepers monster. Back in 1988, Victor was actually convicted of child-esque crimes. He pleaded guilty to creating CP and charges of essaying a young actor who worked with him on a movie. The victim was identified as Nathan Forrest Winters, a preteen actor who starred in his debut feature film, Clown House. The truly disturbing part of all of this is that the young actor claimed it started when he was much younger. Victor was sentenced to 3 years in state prison, but only served 15 months and completed his parole in 1992. He then went on to write and direct the original horror film Jeepers Creepers, which was released in the United States on August 31st, 2001, a movie about a monster who was attracted to the fear of his young victims. Don't you find it strange that these same concepts are repeatedly used in completely different horror movies? While the movies all have different monsters, they all seem to be based on the same thing: harvesting the AC fluid of young victims produced when they're in fear. It's almost like these movies are hiding the truth in plain sight. Now, I didn't go over every movie that depicts this, as the kids' movie Monsters Inc. seems to be about the same thing. In Monsters Inc., the monsters literally harvest the children's fear in order to power their world, again referring to the AC fluid. There are many kids' movies that depict this same theme. If you guys are interested in me covering those movies, I can make a part 2. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments. One thing is clear, all these monsters seem to be telling the story of the real monsters like Victor is, those who prey on the innocent and feed off their fear. It seems like these movies are telling us harvesting AC fluid is not a conspiracy theory, it's a scary reality. Well, I'm gonna end this one here. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.